Hello everyone and welcome to my channel once again. It's a pleasure to always have you around. Today I have some very disturbing news all the way from China, and it's about our African brothers and sisters in China. China, as we all know, is the origin of the COVID-19 disease. As Donald Trump calls it, the Chinese virus, which the Chinese government has tried to hide from the world until later, when the disease got out of hand and they had to inform the WHO about it. Now, the world is not taking it out on China. COVID-19 has taken over the world. It has taken over economies. It has brought economies down to their knees. It has caused unemployment in so many nations. And yet, we are not blaming China for it. And what does China tend to do? Now that COVID-19 has reached Africa, China has gotten yet another reason to be racist against our African brothers and sisters. So much that if you are an African, you will not get any hotel to check in. If you are an African in China right now, you will not be allowed to board any public vehicle. There are reports from our brothers and sisters. They call a taxi and it refuses to pick them. It comes there and they realize it's an African and they walk away. They go into the homes of Africans unannounced and do random COVID-19 tests on them. And those of them who are Africans and have Chinese spouses, they test the Africans and leave their Chinese spouses. What the hell is going on? What is this? This disease came from China in the first place. Remember, we have Chinese all over the world. We have lots and lots of Chinese people in our country depleting our natural resources just because we let them. What do they do to our citizens? They kick them out. Our African brothers and sisters who have rented homes and paid for them in China are being evicted from their own homes that they have paid for, and they are now living on the streets of China with no place to call home. This has to stop. This nonsense has to stop. Our African leaders have to rise up and put a stop to this. Just a few days ago, a Chinese convoy was here in Ghana. They brought medical equipment in solidarity with Ghana. They came to solidarize with Ghana to help in our fight against the COVID-19 disease. We were all smiles and gratitude towards them. And just a few days after, look at what they are doing to our citizens in their country. This nonsense has to stop. Our African leaders have to rise up. This has to stop. I would leave you to watch these videos for yourselves.
They keep chasing us around. Everywhere we go, we cannot spend up to 3 hours to 2 hours in one place. They will start chasing us around. We don't have house. We don't have food. We don't have anywhere to go. They are chasing us again. They are chasing us again. They are chasing us again. They are chasing us again.
No house, nowhere.
Anywhere we go, they will chase us.
No come, we wait. 这里还有了，这里。
We are too many. We are too many. We are too many. We are too many. They keep pursuing us. They keep pursuing us.
And no exit ever. No exit.
We don't know where they are taking us to. We have been in quarantine for 14 days now. We don't know where they are taking us to. Everybody's here. Everybody's here at this hotel. I don't know. In fact, Nigerian government should do something. What is happening? Everybody in a hotel. Now I got out. Guru di Corolla. Eh?
They already chased us out from our hotel. And they kept us here that we should wait. They collected all our passports. Look at them. They collected all our passports. If the Nigerian government is doing anything, please We beg them, let them be fast so we can go out of this mess here in China. It's too difficult here, man.
Guy for. E a se fa con un po', un etiano.
We have a lot of difficulties we are going through right now because we have been in a lockdown for at least 3 months now, and we have a lot of challenges we are going through at this time, and the most challenge is racism. We are facing racism in a way that we cannot access medical care in hospitals. When we go to hospitals and we need any help, all they tell us is please go away, after checking our passports and finding out that we are blacks, actually finding out that we are from Africa. Another challenge we face is we cannot use the public means, because when we try to use the, like if you want to use a bus and you enter a bus, all the Chinese come out. They all come out and they leave you in the bus alone, like they are protesting they can't travel with an African. Another challenge is we are not allowed to use, like to go to the supermarkets to buy what we want. We cannot use the hotels. When we go there, after checking your passport, the only thing they tell you is go away, please go away. When you insist like you want you want something, they call the police, and what the police tells you is please go away. Then another issue is another challenge is some of our friends have been thrown out of the houses they've been renting with no reason, not anything. The landlord just comes one morning and tells you, please make sure that today you leave my house. And another thing is, another challenge is they are forcing us to test for COVID-19 because they come to our houses with no notification. They just come to your house and ask for your passport. If you're African, they tell you that we've come to test for COVID-19. If you're not African, they tell you no. And when they come, after testing, they only tell you that we shall call you after 3 days when you're positive, and if you're not positive, no one will call you. They don't leave you with any document to see that you have tested or that you can show to any other person that you have tested. Those are some of the challenges, and we also face a challenge of food. Like we don't have food as for now. We don't have money for rent, and we ask the government to please intervene.
All right. So Victoria, if I may ask, what city in China are you?
I'm in Shenzhen City.
All right. So have you tried to engage, the Ugandan embassy in China to see if there's any intervention that can come through?
Yes, thank you so much. In the last week of January, I was talking to our chairman at the embassy, Ugandan embassy in Beijing, and he told us that the government has not put any provision for anyone. Then in February, I tried to go to the consulate because now our situation was bad, because I'm not alone, we are very many. They told me the same thing, that the government doesn't put in provision for anyone. Then I contacted the ambassador himself. It's 1 week back since I contacted the ambassador. He told me the same thing. Then last Saturday, I contacted him again. The ambassador told me that every Ugandan everywhere needs the government's help, and the government cannot give help to anyone. And the only thing we can do is to contact our families. At this point, also our families are in quarantines, and for us, we are also in a lockdown, and our families cannot help us. So what we chose to do after that, we created a group. We started seeking for amnesty, and at this time we have all gathered ourselves. We are above 100 seeking for amnesty.
Okay, Victoria. Victoria, if I can chip in, what kind of help do you want the government to give you at this time?
We want the government to intervene and help us push the amnesty thing, because we cannot do it at individual level. As I've said, that we contacted all the people to help us, like the ambassador, the consulate, and the chairman at the embassy, and no one could help. So now we want the government to help us intervene and push the amnesty thing, because China's amnesty is not like any other developed country's amnesty. Here, when you seek for amnesty, you're still forced to pay a fine, and that money is between 3,000 and 5,000 RMBs. And we don't have that money for this time, because we've been in the lockdown for 3 months now, and we don't have that money.
I say especially with the black people, because for those of you who do not know, Chinese is one of the biggest racist, countries ever. Until you get here, that's